Why some people say that the pyramids were built by aliens. Now let's uncover the mystery of the construction of the pyramids. We will explain the materials used, the transportation methods, and the building techniques to show you how the pyramids were actually built. In the end, we will also talk about something in Egypt that was even more difficult to build than the pyramids. Before the completion of the Eiffel Tower, the Egyptian pyramids held the title of the tallest man-made structures on Earth, with a height of 146 meters. They were truly the pinnacle of ancient architecture. Over thousands of years, although Lincoln Cathedral in England briefly surpassed the height of the Great Pyramid, it relinquished the world record back to the pyramids after being struck by lightning. The pyramids gained fame not only for their height but also for their immense scale. The base of the pyramids is a square with sides measuring 230 meters, occupying an area equivalent to about 5 to 6 football fields. Even today they still hold the record for being the heaviest structures in the world, weighing around 6 million tons, far surpassing the second and third places with 4 million and 2 million tons respectively. The pyramids were constructed using approximately 2.3 million massive limestone blocks, with an average weight of 2.5 tons per block, and the heaviest ones reaching up to 100 tons. Interestingly, there was no adhesive used between the key stones. They were simply stacked on top of each other. The gaps between the stones were filled with gypsum to ensure seamless fit to the extent that even a thin blade couldn't be inserted. Remarkably, the pyramids have stood tall for approximately 4,600 years. The entrance to the Great Pyramid is located 13 meters above the ground and consists of 4 large stones forming a triangle. This design is mechanically sound, as other geometric-shaped doors would not withstand the immense weight of the pyramid itself. This indicates that the ancient Egyptians had a deep understanding of geometry and mechanics over 4,000 years ago and were adept at applying this knowledge. The Great Pyramid's fame largely stems from the numerous mysteries surrounding it, such as the process of its construction. Where did the enormous stones come from? How were they cut and transported to the site? How were they stacked and the gap sealed so tightly? It is because of these enigmas that many people doubt that the ancient Egyptians accomplished all of this 4,600 years ago, and even attribute the construction of the pyramids to extraterrestrial beings. Follow me, see the next. So how were the pyramids actually built? First, let's understand the construction materials of the pyramids and where those massive stones came from. The pyramids are located on the west bank of the Nile, which is a desert area, not suitable for quarrying. Although the ancient Greek historian Herodotus believed that the stones came from the Arabian Mountains, which is the modern Greek peninsula, modern scholars generally agree that the stones were actually sourced from the east bank of the nearby Nile. So, how did the ancient Egyptians, without iron tools, quarry these massive stones 4,600 years ago? Scholars now believe that the ancient Egyptians had access to bronze tools, and they likely used bronze chisels to pound the rocks and inserted wooden wedges, which were then soaked with water. As the wood swelled, it exerted enough force to split the rocks. This method has been proven feasible through experimental archaeology. Once the large stones were obtained, the next step was to cut them into rectangular shapes for the construction of the pyramids. There were 2 types of stones to be cut: the relatively soft limestone and the extremely hard granite. Limestone could be cut in shape using bronze saws and chisels. But how did the ancient Egyptians cut the hard granite stones thousands of years ago? Experts speculate that the ancient Egyptians may have attached quartz sand to the surface of copper tools, similar to how modern diamond-coated grinding wheels have diamond particles adhere to the shaft, allowing them to saw through the hard granite. After the stones were processed, the next challenge was the transportation of the massive stones. At that time, the ancient Egyptians did not have vehicles, and even the wheel had not been invented yet. So how did they transport these stones from the quarries to the construction site of the pyramids? In fact, ancient Egyptian wall paintings have revealed the answer. In the tomb of Pharaoh Jehuti-Hotep of the 12th dynasty, there is a mural depicting scenes of ancient Egyptian slaves and craftsmen constructing large buildings. The painting shows over 100 workers dragging sledges similar to sleds. The stones were placed on the sledges, estimated to weigh around 60 tons, based on their size. The largest stones in the Great Pyramid weighed no more than 100 tons, so the sled method was feasible. Some scholars suggest that the ancient Egyptians may have built a road from the quarries on the east bank of the Nile to the construction site of the pyramids on the west bank. and this road may have taken about a decade to construct. Another widely accepted theory is that the ancient Egyptians may have invented a wooden track to place the stones on, making it easier to pull them. Now, how were these stones stacked to form the pyramid? Most scholars believe that the ancient Egyptians employed the principle of ramps during the construction of the pyramids. First, the workers would neatly stack the first layer of stones. Once completed, they would build a ramp made of earth and stones next to the pyramid, with its top at the same height as the second layer, allowing the stones to be transported to the second layer. As the pyramid was built layer by layer, the ramp would gradually increase in height and length. There are 3 proposed methods for raising the ramps. The final challenge: how to fill the gaps between the massive stones in the pyramid. Archaeologists who sampled the Great Pyramid found that the filling material in the stone joints was gypsum. Although gypsum doesn't have adhesive properties, it contributed to the stability of the pyramid. Between 1984 and 1995, scientists from Switzerland, the United States, and Egypt conducted radiocarbon dating on the pyramids. They discovered that the ancient Egyptians used heated wood to rapidly dehydrate the gypsum, and if cracks were found, they would continue to fill them. The results of this study can be found in a report titled "The Use of Radiocarbon to Determine the Chronology of the Old and Middle Kingdoms in Egypt," which also indicates that the charcoal inside the pyramid dates back several hundred years, earlier than the pyramid itself. This suggests that the ancient Egyptians felled many centuries-old trees as fuel for building the pyramids. With this, we have answered most of the engineering questions regarding the construction of the pyramids. In fact, in terms of engineering difficulty, the pyramids were not the most challenging structures to build. The obelisks commonly found in ancient Egypt and the Near East presented a greater challenge. These monolithic structures, weighing several hundred tons, were quarried from distant locations like Aswan, transported by water to places like Luxor, and then erected flawlessly onto their designated pedestals. Today, many obelisks are scattered around the world, and you can see them in various countries. Compared to obelisks, the engineering difficulty of building the pyramids was much lower. But the greatness of the pyramids lies in their astonishing scale of construction. With this discussion, we have revealed the mysteries behind the construction of the pyramids, which should help dispel the notion that aliens were involved. If you like this information, please like, follow, and save it. It would be a great help to me. Thank you for watching.